Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to distill complex information into crisp, actionable insights, helping you become, well, truly well-informed. Today, we're plunging into the world of Eli Lilly and Company. They're a huge pharmaceutical powerhouse whose innovations touch lives all across the globe. Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're taking their 2024 annual report, that's the Form 10K, and we're cutting through all the dense corporate language. We want to pull out the most important nuggets, uncover the core business trends, the strategic shifts, their financial performance, and also the big challenges shaping Lilly's future. Think of this as your sort of expedited pathway to understanding what really drives this industry giant.
And it's a really fascinating company to look at right now. Eli Lilly, they stand out because they have this intense, singular focus just on human pharmaceutical products. Now, that might sound simple, like one unified business, but this deep dive, well, it'll show just how many complex, specialized layers exist under that surface. Their long-term success, and the report really emphasizes this, hinges entirely on their ability to, and I'm quoting here, continually discover or acquire, develop, and commercialize innovative medicines. There's a relentless pursuit of groundbreaking innovation. It has to be.
Okay, so let's really drill down into that core business then. While they operate under that single umbrella, human pharmaceutical products, the real story, where the breakthroughs are happening, it seems to lie in their specialized therapeutic areas. What are those key areas, and why is this focused approach so critical for them?
Exactly. They very strategically concentrated their efforts on several high-impact areas. You'll see them heavily invested in cardiometabolic health. That covers massive global challenges like diabetes and obesity. Then there's oncology, focused on cancer treatments. Immunology, which tackles complex autoimmune diseases. And neuroscience, for neurological disorders. This isn't just, a random list of diseases. It's a deliberate choice. They're channeling immense resources and expertise into these specific high-need areas. And that specialization, well, it allows for a truly focused pursuit of innovative solutions rather than spreading their R&D maybe too thin.
Right, and when we talk about those innovative solutions, let's zero in on what truly propelled Lilly's extraordinary growth in 2024. Mounjaro and Zepbound, these aren't just successful products. They feel like they're redefining entire categories. Give us the numbers because they are pretty eye-popping.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
Mounjaro's consolidated revenues surged by a staggering 124%.
Oh.
Yeah. In the U.S. alone, it jumped 85%. That was driven by just overwhelming demand, and importantly, they managed to increase supply too. Outside the U.S., Mounjaro's revenue just exploded. It went from about $329 million in 2023 to an astonishing $2.59 billion in 2024.
Incredible.
And then you have Zepbound. This obesity treatment, remember, it only launched in the U.S. in November 2023.
Right, very recent.
Very recent. Yet it generated $4.93 billion by the end of 2024.
Just staggering.
Think about that.
Yeah.
These two products, just those two, in only 1 year, accounted for a monumental 48% of Lilly's total revenues.
Nearly half their business.
Almost half, from just two relatively new drugs.
That's incredible. How unusual is that for a company of Lilly's scale to see such a high proportion of its revenue from just two new drugs? What are the implications there, both good and, potentially risky?
It's highly unusual, I'd say, for a company this size. And it really underscores the transformative power of truly groundbreaking innovation when it hits a significant unmet medical need. The positive side is obvious. Immense profitability, rapid market capture. These drugs essentially created new categories or massively expanded existing ones. The potential risk, though, lies exactly in that concentration. It puts a tremendous amount of pressure on their pipeline for future blockbusters, doesn't it?
Yeah, you need the next big thing.
Exactly. And it puts pressure on manufacturing capacity, too. If, say, regulatory changes happened, or intense competition emerged specifically for these or maybe unexpected safety issues,
Right.
the impact on Lilly's top line would be substantial. So it's definitely a high reward, but also, a high stakes strategy. But beyond those absolute blockbusters, other products did continue to perform strongly. Verzenio, that's in oncology, saw a 37% increase.
Still very strong.
Very strong. And Jardiance, for cardiometabolic health, grew by 22%. Actually, that Jardiance figure included a notable $300 million one-time payment that was related to an amendment with their partner, Boehringer Ingelheim.
Oh, okay.
Taltz in immunology was up 18%. And even their long-standing insulin, Humalog, grew by 40%. However, like you alluded to, it's not all just going up. Trulicity, another big diabetes drug, actually saw its revenue drop by 26%.
Wow.
Yeah, and that partially offset some of that phenomenal growth from the new guys. And we saw significant declines in older products like Zyprexa and Buscemi, but that was mainly due to selling off the rights.
Yeah.
So this constant churn just illustrates the dynamic nature of the pharma market, right?
Yeah.
Products rise, products fall. It demands continuous innovation and, frankly, shrewd portfolio management.
And this focus on innovation isn't just about what happens in the lab, is it? Lilly seems to be innovating in how they reach patients, too. One strategic initiative that really caught my eye was Lilly Direct. It's a direct-to-consumer digital healthcare platform. Tell us a bit more about that. What does it signify for their strategy?
Yeah, Lilly Direct is a fascinating move. It's launched for patients dealing with obesity, migraine, and diabetes. The aim is to streamline access to care providers. It even offers home delivery of select Lilly medicines, though that's through third-party pharmacies.
Interesting.
It isn't just another sales channel, though. It feels like a strategic move to build a much more direct relationship with patients, kind of cutting out some traditional intermediaries. It gives Lilly more control over that patient journey, potentially more immediate feedback on their products. It's a pretty bold step into digital health services, I think. And this direct engagement model, it probably also helps Lilly navigate the, well, intensely competitive waters they swim in. They're up against not just other huge multinational pharma companies, but also nimble biotech firms and, significantly, the generic and biosimilar manufacturers. The competitive factors are just relentless. It's about effectiveness, safety, availability, ease of use, that crucial formula replacement we'll talk about, price, and, critically, the speed and success of their R&D pipeline.
You mentioned formula replacement. Now, for our listeners, this isn't just about getting a drug approved by the FDA or EMA, is it? It's about convincing insurers to actually pay for it. What does that pressure look like for Lilly, especially with these high-cost breakthrough drugs like Zepbound? Is it almost like a high-stakes negotiation game with insurers?
That's a really good way to put it, actually. Getting a drug approved by a regulator, that's just the first hurdle, a big one,
Yeah.
but still just the first. Then comes the battle for formulary placement, convincing health plans, pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs, even governments, that your drug should be on their list of covered medications.
Right.
And this is where the price negotiations get incredibly intense. Often involves significant rebates or complex value-based agreements where payment might be tied to outcomes.
Yeah.
For products like Zepbound, which, yes, addresses a widespread condition but comes with a higher price tag, the report specifically highlights payer coverage barriers as a significant challenge. Many anti-obesity medicines, including Zepbound, often face exclusion from commercial benefit plans, from Medicare, and various international markets, too. That directly impacts their potential sales volumes. It's this constant tug-of-war, really, between the perceived value of the innovation and the cost to the healthcare system.
And as if that wasn't enough pressure.
Right. There's a constant threat of generic pharmaceuticals and biosimilars. Once a branded drug loses its patented exclusivity, these competitors can jump in. They often bypass the really costly, lengthy clinical trials and can price their products significantly lower.
Undercutting them.
Exactly. The Biologics Price Competition and Innovation Act of 2009 in the U.S., the BPCIA, that created an abbreviated pathway specifically for biosimilar approval, intensifying competition for complex biologic drugs. Just understanding the evolving regulatory interpretations globally is, well, it's a full-time job for Lilly's legal and strategic teams, I assure you.
Wow.
And another serious concern, particularly for these newer incretin medicines like Mounjaro and Zepbound, is the rise of compounding and counterfeiting. The report specifically calls out an increase in counterfeit, misbranded, adulterated, and improperly compounded versions of these drugs.
That sounds dangerous.
It's incredibly dangerous for patients, first and foremost, but it also dilutes the legitimate market for Lilly's products. Lilly's actively taking legal action and running public awareness campaigns against this. It's just a constant battle to protect both patients and their intellectual property.
It's truly fascinating how a company has to balance this intense, cutting-edge innovation, bringing potentially life-changing therapies to market while navigating such incredibly complex market dynamics, regulatory hurdles, and even, well, illicit activities. It really underscores the high-stakes nature of this industry. So given this landscape, all this competition, innovation, how did it all translate into Lilly's actual financial performance in 2024? What's the bottom line telling us?
Well, the headline numbers for 2024 are, frankly, nothing short of remarkable. Total revenue increased by a phenomenal 32%. It soared to $45.04 billion, up from $34.12 billion in 2023.
That's huge growth.
It is. And even more impressively, their net income effectively doubled. a 102% increase to $10.59 billion in 2024, up from $5.24 billion the previous year.
Doubled net income. Wow.
Doubled. And this, of course, translated directly to diluted earnings per share, EPS. That also doubled, a 102% increase to $11.71 from $5.80.
That kind of explosive growth, it's almost unheard of for a company of Lilly's already massive scale. I imagine this huge leap was primarily driven by what we just discussed, those new blockbusters.
Absolutely. The vast majority of this growth, about 27% increase on a consolidated basis, was driven purely by volume increases, mostly Mounjaro and Zepbound. Higher realized prices contributed another 5%. So yes, the sheer demand for those key drugs was the primary engine.
And geographically?
Geographically, the U.S. market saw a 39% increase in revenue, reaching $30.38 billion. Revenue outside the U.S. also grew solidly, up 19% to $14.67 billion. So it really is a global success story, although definitely heavily weighted by the U.S. market performance.
Okay.
Now, looking at their cost and expense structure, their gross margin is a real standout figure. It increased to 81.3% in 2024. That's up from 79.2% in 2023.
81% gross margin.
Yeah, this isn't just a high number. It reflects the incredible pricing power and, frankly, profitability Lilly has on these innovative new drugs. It shows why the industry is so laser-focused on breakthrough innovation. The margins can be truly exceptional when you create or redefine a category.
That strong gross margin is definitely impressive, but innovation doesn't come cheap, right? Their R&D spend, research and development expenses, saw an 18% increase to nearly $11 billion, $10.99 billion. What does that kind of investment signal about their strategy, and what are the inherent challenges of funneling so much capital into R&D?
It signals a massive commitment to future growth. That $11 billion, the report says it's driven by continued investments in our early and late-stage portfolio. And this just highlights the very nature of drug development.
Yeah.
It's long, it's incredibly costly, and it's inherently uncertain, very high risk. From the initial discovery phase to actually getting regulatory approval can easily take a decade, maybe more. And the probability of success for any single compound starting out is actually very low.
Right.
It's a pipeline game. You need many, many shots on goal to get just a few winners across the line. So this R&D spend, it's Lilly's big bet on its future. It's crucial for sustaining the kind of growth we've just seen from Mounjaro and Zepbound.
Makes sense.
Then you've got marketing, selling, and administrative expenses, MS&A. Those increased by 16% to $8.59 billion. This is the significant cost of actually getting those blockbuster drugs into the hands of patients and doctors. It's supporting ongoing launches, future launches, all the promotional efforts.
Yeah, a necessary cost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Finally, they're acquired in-process research and development, or IPR&D charges. They actually decreased by 14% to $3.28 billion in 2024. This was mainly related to the acquisition of a company called Morphic. IPR&D, it essentially represents the value of drug candidates or technologies that Lilly acquires from other companies, things that are still in development and haven't yet received regulatory approval.
So buying innovation.
Exactly. These are essentially future bets on innovation sourced externally. And Lilly has been pretty active here. In 2023, they had other significant acquisitions like Dice Therapeutics, Versanis Bio, and Emergence Therapeutics. It just underscores their strategy of using external innovation, business development to bolster their own internal pipeline.
All of this paints a picture of massive investments driving really impressive returns. So how are these multi-billion-dollar investments actually being funded? And what does this all mean for the shareholders who are, the ultimate owners of the company?
Right. Looking at their financial health, the company demonstrates very strong liquidity and capital resources. Their cash and cash equivalents increased to $3.27 billion at the end of 2024, up from $2.82 billion in 2023. Even more importantly, net cash provided by operating activities cash from the core business significantly increased. It hit $8.82 billion in 2024. That's a major jump from $4.24 billion in 2023.
That's a big leap in operating cash flow.
It is, and it's crucial because it shows the company's generating substantial cash from its day-to-day operations. That allows it to fund R&D and other investments without relying solely on external financing, like debt.
Speaking of debt.
Well, on the debt side, total debt did increase. It went up to $33.64 billion in 2024 from $25.23 billion in 2023. The report also mentions a recent issuance, just in February 2025, of $6.5 billion in new fixed-rate notes. The proceeds from that are earmarked for business development, general corporate purposes, and also repaying some shorter-term debt, commercial paper. This reflects a strategic use of debt, really, to fund continued growth and innovation. It's a common approach, often effective, in capital-intensive industries like pharma, where these major investments can yield significant future returns.
Okay. And when it comes to giving back directly to shareholders, Lilly is certainly making a statement, aren't they? They increased their quarterly dividend to $1.50 per share for the first quarter of 2025. That translates to an indicated annual rate of $6 per share for 2025. That's up significantly from $5.20 per share paid in 2024. For investors looking for income, that's a pretty powerful signal of confidence.
Absolutely, a strong dividend increase.
And beyond dividends, they also completed a prior $5 billion share repurchase program in 2024, buying back $2.50 billion worth of shares. And then, in what seems like a really strong vote of confidence in their future, the board authorized a new $15 billion share repurchase program in December 2024. What does that massive new buyback program tell you about management's outlook?
Well, it tells you they likely believe their stock is undervalued relative to its future potential, and that they have strong conviction in their pipeline and their market position going forward. A $15 billion share repurchase program, that's a very clear signal to the market. It says the company is committed to enhancing shareholder value, not just through profits and dividends, but also by reducing the number of shares out there, which boosts earnings per share. It's a strategic move, combining financial strength with, well, a pretty optimistic outlook.
Makes sense.
Now, delving into other aspects of their financial health and maybe risks, supply chain resilience is a huge focus for them now, as it has to be. They've made significant investments in manufacturing expansion, new sites in North Carolina, Wisconsin, Ireland, Germany, Indiana, alongside long-term supply agreements.
They need the capacity.
They absolutely need it because, as the report openly notes, demand for their incretin medicines Mounjaro, Zepbound actually exceeded production capacity at various times in 2024. So that just highlights the urgent necessity of robust manufacturing to actually capitalize on that huge demand.
Yeah.
You can't sell what you can't make.
True.
Of course, external factors always play a role. They face risks from foreign currency exchange rates, interest rates, inflation, or deflation. Also exposure to geopolitical tensions, like U.S.-China trade relations, which can directly affect global supply chains.
Mm-hmm.
The increasing frequency and sophistication of cyber attacks are also a significant concern mentioned, as are the risks that come with adopting AI and other emerging technologies in their operations. These could potentially exacerbate existing risks.
Yeah. Yeah. New tech, new risks.
Exactly. And fundamentally, protecting their intellectual property, their patents, their data exclusivity, that is paramount for long-term success. This is a constant battle against generic manufacturers, biosimilars, and also evolving regulatory landscapes. Things like the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA in the U.S., and new European Commission proposals that could impact data protection periods, effectively shortening their market exclusivity.
Always something.
Always something. And finally, the company does face ongoing litigation, issues related to the 340B drug pricing program interpretations.
Right. That's the program requiring discounts for certain hospitals and clinics.
That's the one. Disagreements over how Lilly fulfills those obligations can lead to substantial financial liabilities. They also face litigation related to insulin pricing, historically, and general product liability claims. All of these carry potential financial and reputational impacts down the road.
We've covered a remarkable amount in this deep dive. From the truly blockbuster performance of new drugs like Mounjaro and Zepbound, which are, single-handedly redefining their revenue streams, to the robust financial engine generating record profits, and the significant commitments back to shareholder value through rising dividends and massive share buybacks.
Indeed. What we've really seen is how Eli Lilly's strategic, almost singular focus on innovation within human pharmaceutical products, when coupled with aggressive R&D investment and a very determined manufacturing expansion, well, it has fueled its recent impressive financial growth. And this has all occurred despite operating within a truly complex and challenging environment, regulatory, competitive, geopolitical, where, frankly, every single move is scrutinized.
So as you reflect on all this, here's a provocative thought to consider. How will a company like Eli Lilly balance the immense, truly global demand for its innovative new medicines with the ongoing intense pressures from governments and payers worldwide to control pricing and ensure broad patient access? Especially given the incredibly long development cycles, the high costs, the high risks involved in bringing these truly life-changing therapies to market in the first place, what does this whole dynamic mean for the future of healthcare innovation overall, and ultimately, how might that impact you?